Following is a presentation of KNED Sports.
Live from the KNED studios on Electric Avenue in McAlester, Oklahoma, it's time for Running with the Herd, a weekly McAlester Athletics coaches show brought to you by Barlow Built Performance and Automotive, Reagan Auto, and What About Bob's Restaurant.
Yes, welcome to another edition of Running with the Herd here with the voice of the Buffaloes, Brandon Green, and we have officially ended all of our fall sports when it comes to our Running with the Herd show. So now we are transitioning into winter sports, and our first coach that we have here with our winter sports is Coach Beshears. And again, brand new head coach of the McAlester Lady Buffaloes basketball team. Coach, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing great. Again, this show brought to you by Reagan Auto, What About Bob's Restaurant, and Barlow Built Performance and Automotive. You can pull that mic just a little bit. There you go. You're all good to go. All right. Hey, first off, new role. Congratulations on the new role as head coach of the McAlester Lady Buffaloes. Being an assistant coach with Coach Owen, now going into the head coach position. Once there was an opening, what was it like for you to get the job there?
Thank you for that. Really, after he had kind of stepped away, he texted me and he was like, "Are you going for it?" And I was like, "Going for what?" And he was like, "The job, it's yours." And he was like, "You're perfect for it." And so it was one of those things I thought about. I always said I would never be a head coach. Joke's on me. But I feel like I learned from one of the best. And so to step into it with girls that I care about and I know work hard, it's actually been a pretty easy transition for me.
So, I know you said it's been an easy transition. How have you liked it so far? I know the season hasn't begun yet, but just for the off season, how have you liked it so far?
I've liked it a lot. These girls keep me up late at night wondering how I need to change or what I need to do. So now I feel his stress that he once felt. But all in all, I really like it. I think pieces are coming together. And, of course, basketball is a very long season. But I wouldn't want to do it with anyone else by my side.
And you and I were having a conversation earlier. You're like, man, when Coach Owen was doing like game planning and stuff like that, you're like, man, why does he do all that? And now you understand that, is what you were mentioning here.
Most definitely.
So for the Lady Buff fans out there that maybe don't know you as well as all of us know you, what kind of coach can Buffalo fans expect from you?
So I love running, as my girls already know. This will be my 6th year coaching, my first year head coaching, and so my big mentality is nothing motivates kids like running, and that's kind of how I was coached when I was younger. I'm a screamer, I'm a yeller, I'm a stomper, and so taking on this head coach role will be very different because in the past I've always kind of had to been the nice guy, and now I'm having to be the mean guy, but I also feel like I'm fair and understanding in that role, so it's kind of a balance.
Right, and we were talking about it before we went on here. You're going to need to have a get-back person.
Yes.
Because, if you don't know what a get-back coach is, a lot of times people have it in football where if someone gets too far onto the field, you have someone that grabs them by the back of the shirt and yanks them back so they don't get like a sideline penalty. Don't ever see it in basketball, but who's going to be your get-back coach?
I've decided it's going to be Jillian, and we joked about this because this summer we go to team camp, and I'm coaching, and I look up, and I'm in front of the other team's bench. And I was like, oh my goodness. So then we were scrimmaging on Friday against some boys. And next thing I know, like I'm at one end of the court, I'm in the middle of the court, I'm next to our team, I'm in front of the scores clock, I'm underneath the goal, like I'm everywhere. And I have an Alani in my hand in practice most of the time. And 2 days last week, I spilled it because like I'm running down the court doing something, and next thing I know, it just falls. So I've already told Jillian she has to keep up with my book, my mental health, and now me physically as well.
And your drink too.
Yes.
Hey, so we've talked about how you've liked it so far in the off season, and you mentioned there's been a lot of running. How has the off season been like for you guys getting into like the system? Is it similar to what you had with Coach Owen? Has it been an easy transition there for the girls?
It has. I think it has been. I've kind of changed a few things up here and there. But I also feel like there's a lot of new in this season, and so changing too much up would be a very hard transition.
Right.
We have a lot of girls that have never necessarily played together. They practice together, but being in those roles are very different. And so some things I've kept the same, as well as some things are just a little different.
Right. So how have you felt about district realignment? There's new teams coming into your district. Now we're going to talk a little bit more about the actual hoop season coming up here. Tahlequah is now in your district. I mean, you guys have played them a lot when it comes to going to Tahlequah. It seems like you guys always meet in the semifinals or the finals of that tournament. But now they're in your district. Some other new teams as well that we'll get to a little bit later on. But how have you felt about realignment here?
I just kind of, with this season, I'm just rolling with whatever gets thrown at me. I will say I'm thankful that Sapulpa moved up, as many people in 5A are. Tahlequah is always a really good team to play, and they're very well coached. And so, and I've, coached against him on the sideline for the last 5 years. And so I kind of know the things that he does. It'll be different because he has a different team. But I'm also excited to we have Pryor in district, and so we played them, I think, 2 years ago in area. And so being able to kind of see what they did then versus what they do now and what we do with this team, I think it'll be good. I went to a small school, so districts are very different. But it is nice that you play, and depending on how well you play in that person is how you get ranked versus popularity or having specific votes.
And have you liked that so far? Because you've seen both ends of the spectrum there. You've seen the coaches' rankings, and you've now seen district play, especially after 1 year district play in 5A. What are some things that you like about it, or some things that maybe you wish you liked better from coaches' rankings? I know some people just love district rankings way more than they like
I feel like
the
it's
coaches'
just
rankings.
fair.
Yeah.
I feel like, if you win or if you lose based on points, it's just really fair. I never got to do the coaches' side of rankings with Jared, but I also felt like there was a lot of, they had to really kind of talk and try to, at the end of the season, get coaches on board for certain things so that teams wouldn't get, screwed over, or you wouldn't have teams that should be somewhere and they end up placed another place just because coaches are, ultimately out for their own team, which is great.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I think just letting the girls play and let the score speak for itself, and then keep, districts that way is the easiest way to go.
Right, and it can be hard for that too, because you have from 5A coaches that may play each other a bunch in Tulsa or in Oklahoma City, and you got guys like you guys that have to go to Idabel or Broken Bow or Hugo, and they don't know how good those 3A, 4A teams are, when sometimes they're better than a lot of the 5A teams that you guys play. Just being at Tad last year, how cool was it to be able to host a basketball tournament at the Primus Moore Invitational? I'm sure it was a little stressful too.
It was. I think it's amazing. That gym is awesome, obviously. Brumley will always have my heart, I think, because that's the gym that we were in when we won it. But the MAC is super nice, and I enjoy practicing there, and playing there is a whole new environment. It is very stressful. I think by the end of it, you're like basketballed out, and you need 1 day break, and then you roll back into it. But having those teams there, being able to host, being able to have your fans come out and kind of have that home court advantage is great to have.
And last question before we go to a commercial break and speak to some of the players here. Who are some players that you see being big-time leaders for you this year?
Avery Alberson, she will be big for us. Bodie Nystrom, she'll be huge for us. I have a few underclassmen that if they can rise to the occasion, I think that they could be crucial parts of the team. Cambry Zoomer, she's a sophomore this year. So we're kind of working on, didn't get to play a whole lot last year. We're having to grow up pretty quick and put her in situations that she may not be comfortable in. Rylan Lesnow, she can be huge for us on the offensive boards, on the defensive side of things. And then my other senior, Kaylee Knight, she is, she's the kid who she's just constant. You know what you're going to get from her. You know what to expect from her. She will lead by example. She will work hard. She will never complain. And I think you always have to have a program guy integrated in there to show the young ones what it's like to be a Lady Buff.
Great answer.
Thank you.
I don't think you had to be nervous at all if you're nervous about this. Hey, we're going to speak with Coach Beshears a little bit later with some more fun questions, but we got some of our seniors coming up here in just a little while here on Running with the Herd. Again, we're talking about McAlester Lady Buffs basketball. We'll be back in just a moment here on KNED.
Looking for a trustworthy automotive shop? Come see our technicians at Reagan Auto. Our trusted technicians work hard to get your vehicle needs taken care of in a timely manner. Here at Reagan Auto, we provide oil changes, tires, alignments, along with transmissions and engines. Stop by and see us at Reagan Auto at 306 East Wyandotte in McAlester to get a quote, or simply call 918-715-3236. That's 918-715-3236.
What About Bob's Restaurant, the home of Bob's Sunrise Surprise, is located at 610 North Main in McAlester. What About Bob serves up your favorite comfort food 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Go down and see Olivia and the gang for breakfast and lunch. What About Bob's Restaurant, open 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Check them out on their Facebook page, What About Bob's, 610 North Main in McAlester.
Barlow Built Performance and Automotive is your full-service automotive repair shop, including brake work and heat and air repair. We do MIG and TIG welding. We're McAllister's only full-time exhaust shop. From race cars, I'm going fast again! To your grandma's cars.
What up, Grandma?
We do it all. We also sell tires and wheels. Barlow Built Performance and Automotive, 1 West Monroe Avenue in McAlester. Open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call 918-318-0323.
You're welcome.
Welcome back to Running with the Herd, brought to you by Reagan Auto, What About Bob's Restaurant, and Barlow Built Performance and Automotive. You're listening to Running with the Herd, and again, it's the McAlester Lady Buffs basketball edition of the show. We're now into winter sports. We're going to be hopefully having boys basketball next week, wrestling a little bit later, and then wrap up the 2024 calendar year with Coach Singleton in December. But we now have players with the McAlester Lady Buffs basketball team, all 3 seniors. We have Avery Alberson, Bodie Nystrom, and Shiley Mason with us today. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, you guys are going to be just fine. I know that 2 people have already been on this show before in a different sport, in softball, and Bodie now joining for the first time with basketball here. So we're going to start off with an icebreaker just to kind of mellow out a little bit. With Halloween just wrapping up last week, do you guys have a favorite scary or Halloween movie, maybe?
Probably Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th. So you're into scary movies then?
Yeah.
Okay. Friday the 13th is a good one.
Mine's probably the first Scream.
First Scream is a good one too. So funny story about that when it comes to me. I was little when it first came out. I mean little. So it was popular on TV, and I walk in wearing my Scooby-Doo outfit or whatever I was wearing, and it was on TV, and I saw the opening scene with Drew Barrymore and how she gets the axe or the knife in this instance. But I get out of there, and then we go trick-or-treating on all the streets of McAlester, and then guess who everybody is because Scream just came out. Everyone's Ghostface. So I am traumatized. I think all of them are coming out to get me. And
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, trick-or-treating ended early that night. Shiley.
Medea Boo.
What's that?
Medea Boo.
Medea? What is that?
It's just like a funny Medea.
Oh, Medea. Okay, yeah. Medea Boo. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, my wife's favorite, she's not into scary movies, but she likes Hocus Pocus. So that's one of her favorite ones here. All right, any favorite Halloween candy?
Y'all don't say Reese's Pumpkins.
Not a big Reese's Pumpkins.
Oh, they're
fan.
the best.
Oh, they're the best? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, Reese's probably are.
Krabby Patties.
Krabby Patties. I remember those.
Oh.
I don't know, probably Twix.
Twix. Okay, so new answer for each one. I was honestly expecting a Reese's, somewhere to be duplicated there out of 3. So, now you guys are seniors here for McAlester basketball. So I figured I'd ask, how did you get your start in basketball?
I was in kindergarten, and my mom played basketball in college, so I just...
Or there was no choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just started 3rd grade Boys and Girls Club stuff.
Okay.
I grew up around, my dad's been a coach for my whole life, so once I could grab a ball, I was playing basketball.
Yeah, doing all kinds of sports, I'm sure, when it comes to, I know, multi-sport athletes all around here right now. So what have been some of your favorite moments of members of McAlester basketball? I know at least for one person, that's an easy answer, but tell us about your favorite moments so far from McAlester basketball.
Mine's probably by far winning the state championship. That team, as a whole, was just really great.
Shocker. I could not imagine.
Yes, as you wear the shirt.
Yeah, listen, anytime I get the chance to, I'm going to wear the shirt when we're talking about McAlester Lady Buff basketball. That was okay, so I know we're going to speak with Coach Beshears about it a little bit later, but man, I don't know, for you, it felt like it just, it's here, then it was gone.
Oh, yeah.
It just was the fastest hour, but also at the same time felt like the longest hour, because you're once you grab the lead, it feels like it's really this time is never going to hit 0. But in the moment, also you're you can't really soak it in because everything's moving by so fast. So someone asked me about that the other day, and I said, honestly, it just was a blur. As soon as it happens, everyone's asking you questions, and there's who do you want to interview on? I didn't even know you could do that. So that's cool. Bodie.
I would say a lot of the bus rides. Last year, the last game, we played against Grove.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't win, unfortunately, but that bus ride back, we just talked and laughed the whole time on the way home. And that was probably my favorite memory so far.
Cool deal. Now, Shiley, I know you're a little bit new to the program, but so far in the off season, what's been one of your favorite moments?
Just being around the girls and the chemistry the girls have. Like, we're all just really good. We mix well.
Good deal. So season starts now in less than a month. How excited are you guys to get ready? It's kind of weird that now we're less than a month away from the start of the season.
I would say it's definitely mixed emotions, being my last year, but definitely excited to see what we can offer up and how far we can go.
I agree. I definitely think we have something to prove this year. I feel like we have to bounce back from last year with all the drama and stuff, but I think we can do it.
Sounds good.
I'm just here for the fun and moral support.
All right, so let's get into the season a little bit now and look at the actual schedule here. What team on the schedule are y'all most looking forward to playing?
Tahlequah.
Wow, Tahlequah too there. I know that you are going to be playing maybe some same players from softball. Anybody you're looking forward to maybe going up against?
Not really.
I'm just here for the moral support.
Yeah, I'm just here.
And now Ada's back on the schedule though. How do you guys have
I'm excited for that.
Okay, so Ada's
Bring
back.
back Potec, yeah.
I know, man. It was kind of weird not being able to have Ada on the schedule last year. Now it's not a home and home this year. It's just at McAlester.
At McAlester, and then we go to our other non-district is we go to Broken Bow.
Okay, so then we have Broken Bow and Ada back here. So last one's always a fun one here. If you were running for president, who is one player on the team that you would choose as your VP?
Probably Kaylee Knight.
Kaylee Knight.
Jillian's not a player, but I would say Jillian as our manager.
Jillian?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, either one of those two would be mine.
Well, I'm sad that no one said Shiley. She's the moral support. I mean, come on.
She'd be my secretary.
She's secretary. There we go. There we go. Guys, thank you for joining us today, and good luck as we start the season. I know that if you guys don't know, McAlester Lady Buff Basketball is going to be on KNED all season long. We're going to try to video stream a lot on McAlester Radio's Facebook, YouTube page, and also over here on KNED all throughout the season. So can't wait to see you guys on December 3rd at Tahlequah.
Thank you.
Thank you all, and have a good one. We're going to be back here with Coach Beshears with McAlester Lady Buffs Basketball. This is Running with the Herd, brought to you by Reagan Auto, What About Bob's Restaurant, and Barlow Built Performance and Automotive.
Looking for a trustworthy automotive shop? Come see our technicians at Reagan Auto. Our trusted technicians work hard to get your vehicle needs taken care of in a timely manner. Here at Reagan Auto, we provide oil changes, tires, alignments, along with transmissions and engines. Stop by and see us at Reagan Auto at 306 East Wyandotte in McAlester to get a quote, or simply call 918-715-3236. That's 918-715-3236.
What About Bob's Restaurant, the home of Bob's Sunrise Surprise, is located at 610 North Main in McAlester. What About Bob serves up your favorite comfort food 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Go down and see Olivia and the gang for breakfast and lunch. What About Bob's Restaurant, open 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Check them out on their Facebook page, What About Bob's, 610 North Main in McAlester.
Barlow Built Performance and Automotive is your full-service automotive repair shop, including brake work and heat and air repair. We do MIG and TIG welding. We're McAllister's only full-time exhaust shop. From race cars,
I'm going fast again!
to your grandma's cars.
What up, Grandma?
We do it all. We also sell tires and wheels. Barlow Built Performance and Automotive, 1 West Monroe Avenue in McAlester. Open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call 918-318-0323.
Welcome back to Running with the Herd for the McAlester Lady Buffs basketball edition here on KNED. This is the voice of the Buffaloes, Brandon Green, alongside Coach Kourtnee Beshears with the McAlester Lady Buffs basketball team. Again, this episode of Running with the Herd is brought to you by Reagan Auto, What About Bob's Restaurant, and Barlow Built Performance and Automotive. Let's go to some generic questions about Coach Beshears here. I know we spoke about the season coming up, so we asked your players. Now we're going to ask you, what was your start in basketball, and what made you want to become a coach, not just a head coach, just a coach?
So I went to Taney Hill once upon a time. So I picked up a basketball. I think my first camp was in like preschool. And I'm a natural competitor anyways. Everything I do, I want to compete. And I have kids like that as well, so it's been fun. And I don't even remember what got me into it, and I just played. And I just started, I think, out there. You know, we started playing in 3rd grade, and I just played all the way through. Loved the game, but I always told myself after high school, I was like, I will never teach and I will never coach. And then joke's on me. I get into the teaching side of things, and then my first year at Emerson, and I have someone that comes up to me and they're like, Jared wants you to coach. And I was like, who? And they're like, Jared Owen. And I had worked with Jared when I was in high school, actually. And I was
Didn't know that.
Yeah. So we both worked at Pete's Place. And he, at that time, I was out at Indianola, and he tried to get the job out there. So his first coaching gig was my senior year. And we went to Butner, and we scrimmaged them. And so beyond that, I kept up with him on Facebook. And so if someone comes up to me, like, do you want to coach? And I was like, sure. Like, why not? And that was my first year. I had 9th grade, and after that, it kind of just fell into place. And never really wanted to be a coach, but I will say that I don't take this job lightly. And my big thing on wanting to be a coach is just wanting to shape the lives of young women. I tell the girls all the time, one day people won't remember our win-loss. One day people won't remember our state championship, but they do remember, like, the woman you are. And I hope to help build them into that.
You're really good at this. I don't know why you're ever saying, man, like, I don't know. No. Anyway, let's go to our next question here. Not many people have the opportunity to answer this question. I mean, you kind of mentioned it just there in your last answer. What is it like to win a state championship?
It is the most surreal feeling I think I've ever had. The day of the state championship, I was 30 weeks pregnant with my daughter. So I was exhausted. We played the late game on Thursday night at Norman North. I think we played at like 8 o'clock or something that night.
Right after the big upset of Carl Albert
and Rogers, yes. And I remember rolling. I don't think it ever really hit me that we were going. I had a sick kid that day, so my son had the flu. So I literally hand him off to my mom, catch a bus to go to the state tournament. And we get there, and I remember we were getting ready to play Midwest City, and at that time, I'm there, and Jared's like, we have a chance. And I look at Midwest City's roster, and I'm like, okay. And he's like, no, coach, like, we really have a chance. And I was like, sign me up, like, let's go. Because there were a lot of times that he would integrate stuff, and I would be like, this man's crazy, but it would work. And so I went with it. And it was just surreal. That whole weekend, I was exhausted. I was, like, having to juggle caffeine and water, so I didn't go into, like, preterm labor.
Well, that's also crazy because, I mean, you could expect, okay, we could just go back home after this game. And then you're looking at, okay, hotel, and then you're looking at, well, the next game, and it's weird how it just rolls.
Yes,
So.
and when you look down, like, I look at the moment, and I'll never forget, we had just tipped off, and I think El Reno gets, like, the first 4, and I was like, this is going to go one of 2 ways. We're about to get killed, or maybe we'll have an upset. And then from that moment on, I don't remember much of anything.
I don't either.
And I remember I had to sit off the elevated floor because I was so pregnant that my belly was, like, squished, and I was trying not to have a child or have an anxiety attack and also help out, and it was a lot.
Yeah,
a whole
I'm sure.
lot.
Sometimes I felt like you were moving more than the players were.
Yes, well, Jared liked to stand right in front of wherever I was. So he would ask me, he always integrated me, like, what do you want to change, or what defense you want to go, or what quick hitter. And so it's like right as I would be watching, he would stand right in my way. So I'd have to switch seats, or I have to crouch down, or I have to stand up. And I'm like, okay, it's fine.
Next question here. My daughter just had a birthday where we ordered too much pizza, so I had to ask this question. What is your favorite pizza toppings?
Probably Canadian bacon.
That's very quick.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
right off the bat, I was like, wow.
It's not one that people usually like, but I do like it. Yeah.
All right, so I'm sorry. We had so much leftover pizza. We brought some to the station. Didn't have any Canadian bacon. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
Next one. This is your opportunity to give a shout out to your support system back home. You already mentioned them a little bit here throughout the show. If you'd like, tell us about them.
So I have a son that is 4. His name's Lennox. I have a daughter, Landry. She's 2. It's exhausting, but they've been pretty much raised around the girls and the gym. Lennox, I think, took his first steps in Brumway. I have pictures of him with his little headphones on as a baby. I couldn't do any of this without my husband, though. He's super supportive. He just kind of takes it in strides. And I remember I was 7 months pregnant with Lennox, and Jared texted me. He was like, hey, do you want to be my assistant next year? And I went in there to Wyatt, and he was like, why not? And I was like, okay. So then when we sat down and kind of talked about this head coach role and how much responsibility it would take away from me and put on him, and he was like, whatever you want to do. And so I really couldn't do it without him. My mom, she helps with the kids a lot. My in-laws, they help with the kids a lot. And kind of anyone that's at the game, they're like, give me that kid. Like, we'll play with them or we'll hang out with them. And so that's been helpful too, is to have a community around trying to raise my kids while also do this job.
I can verify for Wyatt. I played baseball with him for a few years. He's a pretty good guy.
Yes, he handles me. He's great.
Yeah. And our last one here, always a fun one. We kind of mentioned it a little bit here with your players. If Coach Beshears was running for president, what would your campaign slogan be?
Oh.
I think your players might be able to answer this a little bit better than you, maybe. Like a famous saying, maybe, that Coach Beshears has.
What is? I always tell them they're not as tired as they think they are.
You're
Like,
not as tired as you think you are. Beshears 2023.
Yeah. What else do I say? I tell them suck it up a lot.
Suck it up 2024.
What else? Too bad.
Baseline.
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 Yeah.
Baseline.
I don't.
I do.
Oh, I don't negotiate.
I don't.
with
I
terrorists.
don't negotiate. I don't negotiate with terrorists. That would be
love
perfect.
that.
That's it.
My
These girls
goodness.
all the time, they're trying to like, can we only run 2? I'm like, okay, 4. And they're like, the other day we did something and they had to do push-ups, and Kaylee Knight, she's not here, she was supposed to be here. She goes, you think we'd learn to shut our mouth at some point? And I was like, girl, you're telling me.
Coach, I've loved this show. I was looking forward to it all week. Thank you for joining us today. Anything else you'd like to add before we wrap it up?
Come to a game. Come support. We're excited. We're hungry. We're ready to go. We've got some new jerseys coming in.
Sweet.
We are about to order some super nice shoes. I've got some girls that are ready to play. They have energy. And so come out and support us in any way you can. And we appreciate everything you guys do for us.
Absolutely. Always going to be here. Thank you, Coach. And
Thank you.
good luck December 3rd at Tahlequah. First home game, by the way, will be December 20th, and that's going to be Pryor, I believe, over
Yes.
in McAlester. So make sure you guys make it on out to a game. Again, promise more invitation will be shortly after that when we go into the calendar year 2025. But until next time, this has been Brandon Green with McAlester Lady Buff head coach Kourtnee Beshears. We're going to wrap it up here and get back to your regularly scheduled programming. We've got some Shenandoah with 2 Dozen Roses coming up.
Good. That's Lennox's favorite song.
There we go. So again, thank you for joining us, and until next week, don't just have a great week, have a